Hello students, parents and carers. This is Mr. Anderson and this week's assembly is on how we are preparing for return to SBL for some of our students. During closure so far, there are a number of things that we have been getting on with as a school, including ensuring there's been remote learning, that we have made the key worker provision in school as exciting and as worthwhile for students as we can. We've shared a number of food parcels in collaboration with a company called FareShare to ensure that a lot of our families have been able to receive food, and so many of our families have had regular checks from us so we know where we can support in this difficult time. Although our teachers don't have that regular daily contact with our students in the way that we have done previously, one of the things that has been continuing is the amount of work that they've been putting in to ensure that all of our students are supported to learn remotely at home. This takes a lot of time and effort, and I know how difficult it has been for some of our families to access that at times, and I do hope that we've been able to solve any issues that have been raised with us and support all of our students to continue learning during this difficult period. So what's Term 6 going to look like? Well, for many of you it will look the same in terms of the remote learning will continue, but we will ensure that there is a focus on consolidation of your learning and preparation for September, so that when you do come back to us, there isn't too much that you need to catch up on. Year 9s have already graduated, so they've started their option subjects now, and they'll be doing some bridging work to help them get prepared for September whilst continuing their work in their core subjects. The Year 10 remote learning is going to continue as the main vehicle for lessons, with some live learning being developed and ways in which we can have more face-to-face contact with those students. One way in which we're going to do that is by inviting some of those in to take part in sessions in school. And that is designed to help us complement their remote learning. We will continue with the regular contact that we have with families to see how things are going, and I would urge as many of you that need to get in touch to do so, to have a chat with your teachers or support staff so that we can help solve any problems that you may have. I know this is a difficult time for our Year 11 students who are wondering what's going to happen regarding their exams, and we're in the final process of finishing off all the submissions that we need to make to ensure that we meet all the deadlines required regarding that. Our Year 13s are going through the same process at the moment, and I would like to wish them the best of luck with their upcoming results, and I hope that they manage to utilise the support that we've put in place to ensure that they can progress to the next stage in either employment or further education or apprenticeships. But good luck to all of you. So today myself and those from the central team within the Trust have written to all of our Year 10 students to ensure that they have the information that they need regarding our partial reopening. Some of the parents have had phone calls today explaining the situation regarding their child coming back into school, and our sessions will start next week. So how have we prepared for the return of our students? Well, we've made quite a lot of changes to remote learning, as you all know, to ensure that we can monitor how engaged our students are in that and what best way in which we can support them. We've risk assessed all the arrangements for the students coming back into school to ensure that it's just as safe as it possibly can be for students and staff. We've set up classrooms in other areas for use by small groups, and these are socially distanced to ensure that we can follow the government guidelines around that and be as safe as possible. And we've thought about things like uniform, the equipment that students need to bring in, our behaviour policy, food and drink, social distancing, entry, exits, hand washing, and so many other things that we need to take into consideration to ensure that everybody is safe when they come back into school. One of the key things has been how we have carefully considered which students will be coming back in for lessons and why. And there are a whole variety of different reasons for that, which are being explained to parents and carers and to those students. All those students will require a training session when they come back into school to ensure that they are up to speed with our expectations for them coming back in. And hopefully they'll be able to support their remote learning through the work that they're able to do with some of their teachers. We've created groups that will stay together and work together and teachers will only work with their group, so we can ensure that that social distancing and that cross-contamination is limited as much as possible. We'll also be continuing with our key worker group provision, which will remain separate to the provision for Year 10s. You can see here that we've carefully planned out the type of setup we want within our rooms to ensure that we have 10 students, and I've included some photographs here of what the rooms actually look like and the safe spaces look like for our staff and our students for when they return. And we will be taking the social distancing guidelines very seriously indeed. Now, I know that a lot of you are missing your friends, you're missing your teachers and the support staff that are there for you on a daily basis when you come into school, and you're missing that regular routine. But this will end and we will be able to welcome you all back. But what can you do in the meantime? Well, the first thing that we'd expect you to do is to ensure that you give yourself the opportunity to complete all of your remote learning and your learning checks. This will help teachers to understand how well you're doing and to target you specifically for the work that they need to make sure is completed so that you're prepared for September. You do need to respond to teachers and support staff when they try to contact you via email. And they are looking to support you to access your learning in the best way possible. You know that there are people that you can talk to in school if there are any issues or any problems that you're having, and we're happy to listen to that so that we can support you in the best way that we can. In assemblies at the end of last term, I told you that you all had a responsibility to each other to make sure that you were all okay during this difficult time. And I do hope that you've remembered to stay in touch with your school friends and that you've thought about those people who might be a little bit isolated and that you've reached out to them to be able to ensure that they still feel that they're part of our family. You do need to follow the government advice on social distancing and obey the rules as we come out of lockdown. I've been pleased to say that I drive through our area quite regularly when I'm coming into school to work with the key worker group, and it's great that I haven't seen too many of our students breaking those social distancing rules, and it does seem that you are able to stick to that, and it is really important if we want to be able to open in September that we follow the advice of the government. And the thing that I would like you to really reflect on is that this is one of those opportunities where you do get the opportunity to spend some quality time with your family. And those opportunities tend to get lost sometimes in the day-to-day of work and school and everything else. And I would urge you to make sure that you take those opportunities to spend that quality time with your family, and as lockdown loosens, to also think about how you can do that safely with your friends. I have to say, in conclusion, that this has been one of the strangest assemblies that I've ever had to deliver. I'm used to standing in front of you, being able to look at your faces, look at your reactions, and talk to you about the issues that we might be having, or alert you to some of the things that we need to be doing in order to improve the school, or to praise you for the fantastic work that you've done. It's been very strange doing that to a computer screen and informing you of the measures that we've put in place, which make the school look like a very different place to what it normally is. I also don't like the sound of my own voice when it comes to a recording as well, as I'm sure many of you have the same feeling about your own voice. However, it's been really important, I felt, to get the information across to you around how school looks, because there is the possibility that school could still look like this in some way in September. But we won't know any more about that until the government make more announcements about wider opening in September. We want you back. We want to see our students, we want to interact with you, we want to teach you, we want to support you. But we won't be able to do that until it's safe and until the government have told us that we're able to. So in the meantime, I would urge all of you to be safe, ready and respectful, and to ensure that you make every opportunity to complete the work that is being set for you. I'd like to thank all of you for your support so far during this difficult times, the parents and carers for their regular communications with us, and I hope for encouraging your students, your children, to work as hard as possible. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the Year 10s next week when they come into school, and we will obviously keep you as updated as possible with any further changes. I hope you have a good rest of the week and a great weekend when it gets here.